Hello, friends. Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing my lined vertical health planner layout for the next week in January. So come play with me. And I've got some different washies here ready to go, and some various die cut PET stickers, this set of stat stickers I made on my computer, and this Happy Planner sticker book, which I'll pull from. Okay, let's go ahead and lay down some wax paper and get started on this week's design. I am putting down some fresh tape. I usually reuse the tape over and over, and it was on its last leg, so time for some new tape. I've got these stickers here with a pebble scene next to water. And I thought that those would be nice backgrounds for these window stickers that I have, all from Journal Say. Everything I'm using will be linked down below in the description in case you see something that you'd like to have in your stash or just want a closer look at something. So just trying to figure out how I'm going to lay these out. I really wanted to use these blue branches since I feel like these branches work really well in winter since they're blue, and I don't know, just usually you don't see blue branches. So I thought this would be a good wintry vibe alongside the natural look behind the windows. And originally I was thinking the branches would go behind the windows, like as if they were outside near the glass. But I changed my mind once I started playing around with these and decided to have them laying over front of the window. I just thought the detail in them would look a little bit better if I did that. So that's what I'm doing. And the styles of the different branches in this set are all a little bit different. There was nothing that was like matched up between one or another sticker. So I am cutting down a couple of branches that I picked with a certain style that I thought matched fairly well with each other. And then I'm making like a Frankenstein branch there for the middle, combining the two elements that I grabbed from the other branches. So I think that's what we're going to go with. Now I'm going to need some boxes for my workout tracking. I pulled this cyanotype sticker book from the Happy Planner and thought it had the most blue boxes because, if you know, blue boxes are very hard to come by, at least in the Happy Planner world. So this book should be full of them, but I think I've used more than I thought I did. So we're going to have to get creative as far as how I'm using these boxes and where. Also, starting to put things actually down on the wax paper versus just having them free float there to really cement the design and how I'm going to want it. Combining those branchy pieces together to make one solid branch, and I'm really liking how that's looking across the smaller window. Now I'm really thinking about how I want to lay out this spread, but keep it functional. If you follow my channel, you know I talk about triangles a lot as far as laying out designs. So those main three elements with the windows are placed in a triangular shape on the spread, meaning if I drew a line between them, you would be able to see the triangle pretty well. You could do this as a very, like even symmetrical type of triangle, or you can do like I did here, which is kind of obscure, but still very much positioned in a triangle shape. I feel like this way, the one that you're seeing here on the spread, has a little bit more character to it because it doesn't feel like it should balance, but it does to the eye. And also to the use of odd numbers just tends to look a little bit more natural and organic. So I've got that in there. And again, I am starting to lay actual stickers down on the wax paper to figure out exactly where I want things to go. The box placement is kind of important because, like I said, I'll be using this to track my workouts. So they can't just be willy-nilly placed. Willy-nilly? I don't know if that's a word, but I don't want them to be placed so that it doesn't make sense when I'm actually entering in my workouts. So I'm pretty much trying to make about the same amount of space within the box on every day. And if that isn't possible, then I need to move the box or change up the design to work functionally. What I pulled in now is a couple of smaller boxes in case I have a double workout there on Thursday. And then the other boxes, I think I could fit a double workout in there as far as what I track if needed, but it could also work as a single workout tracker as well. In order to make this functional, I was struggling a little bit with the balance. I do kind of feel like it's a little unbalanced right now, so I don't know how to fix it at this point with what I have to use as far as boxes, but maybe I can bring something else in later or fix it with washi. I'm not real sure yet. But for now, let's go ahead and lay in these stat stickers to really get a feel for where everything's going to be placed on each day, making sure I have enough room for tracking both, again, my workouts, my stats, and then also my food log for the day. That's one thing to note when I am setting up my spreads. I am always thinking about how I'm actually going to be filling them in, not just making things pretty. The imbalance, for example, might be a bit of a problem, but I'd rather it be unbalanced but also functional than be really pretty and not be functional for me, if that makes sense. That's why I think the wax paper really helps because, again, you're trying to make something look good, but sometimes it just doesn't go to plan if you just lay something down and then you realize that you've, blocked off space that you need. So the wax paper allows you to pick things back up with ease and then go back and make adjustments without too much of a headache. You can kind of see that in action here as I'm working out the best positioning for these boxes and these sticker layering situations. I did want to bring in some quotes for this spread, but I wasn't really finding a good spot for a large quote, and I didn't really like any of the ones that were available in that cyanotype book. So I'm thinking these smaller bar quotes will work from there. And I don't know why, I just decided to lay it across the middle of the windows as part of the cluster, and we'll see how that looks in the end. And here's where I'm kind of struggling with what to do with this somewhat of an empty space here on the bottom left. That's really the part that feels unbalanced to me at this point. So just trying to work out how this is going to go in and what I can do to fix that at that point. Definitely want to bring in some more of this brown with the washi, and again, trying to figure out how best to lay it in with this blue washi. Dealing with a smaller planner has come with some challenges for me, including just spacing, and like this washi is a little bit bigger than I need it to be for this size planner, but I don't want to cut it down. So just trying to figure out how I can incorporate it as is without too much of a problem. Here's where I'm trying to find a solution for that corner. And then I saw these little arrow strip stickers and thought those might be a cute call out for something, but I think it's just going to clutter up the space. So we will leave those as is. I'm going to try flipping the positioning of this larger box and the smaller box here. See if that helps at all with the balance. maybe. I don't know. The problem is still there in the left corner where I feel like I need something else. So for now, we'll just wing it and see if something comes to me as I start setting up this spread. So I decided that I didn't want to cut this washi down like I mentioned, so I am going to push everything up one line from the bottom. If I had left it where it was like completely flush with the bottom edge of the line vertical area, you would see barely any of the blue. By pushing it up a little bit, I think I can win a little space for added color there at the bottom. And now that that's in, I can lay in these stat stickers. And I skipped that one there in the middle because I want it to go on top of this cluster. So we'll drop that cluster in now. I am going to reposition it a little bit since I did move up that washi. There are some areas of the sticker sticking out of the window area that will make it really hard to write on top of those areas. So I'm just trying to cut it down and get as close to the windowsill as possible so that there's not any sticker hanging out and blocking my functional space. I'm just going to reset this long bar here. Make sure it's centered and straight. And I'm going to tuck this stat sticker here next to the windowsill, again, to try to win more space because I'm going to need to write next to it, and there's not much space to go off of. Let's go ahead and lay in more washi here at the top, preparation for the rest of this spread. And I am going to cheat and pull this brown washi down into the text above so it overlaps a bit. Again, I didn't really want to cut it down, but if I had pushed it up any further, it really would have blocked all of the blue washi behind and lost a bit of that effect that I was getting with that color. Now I'm just trying to see again if I can figure out a way to make this part of the spread a little more functional and better designed. I did adjust those boxes a bit, but I still think I'm going to need something else. So we'll get to that there in a second. Finally dropping in this last cluster here, and originally it was a little bit more centered on the right, and I decided to push it up to the top, making the triangle between the different clusters a bit more symmetrical. I do like the other way a bit better, but I was thinking about functional space here, and I want to make sure I have enough room for a full food log in each day. Just doing the trimming now, cleaning up any edges. I'll also separate out the pages. It's looking good. Do love this color combination of the brown and the blue. Very natural feeling. Let's go ahead and punch the pages now. One thing I didn't quite realize when I set this up was that when I pushed up everything from the bottom, I kind of pushed that quote up into where the holes are going to fall. So it got punched through, but luckily you can still read the entire quote and it's not affected by the hole punches next to it. And here's my last stitch effort to try to fill that space there on the left. I'm thinking a large sidebar box will just really help fix a lot of the problems I'm seeing there as far as the balance. So we'll drop this one in and trim it down. So that's it, friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye!